Hello everyone, welcome back to Cell Biology series. I am Dr. Kalpna Rakholiya. This is episode 7. Today we are going to discuss about function of mitochondria. So in episode 6, part 1, we learn ultrastructure of the mitochondria. In this part, we will learn different function of the mitochondria. So these are the topic we are going to cover: different ATP production, role in apoptosis, role in metabolic function, so on. So let's start about the function. So ATP is the primary function of the mitochondria, is the production of ATP. We are called as the energy currency of the cell. Think of ATP as a rechargeable battery that power every cellular structure. So let's discuss how ATP is generated inside our cell and how this mitochondria are involved, right? So let's discuss. Journey begins when we are eating the food, right? So this food is converted into the glucose. Suppose we are eating the complex food. This complex food converted into first glucose. This glucose is undergo into the glycolysis process, and we know one glucose molecule converted into the two pyruvate molecules, right? And this pyruvate into the mitochondria and converted into the acetyl CoA, and this acetyl CoA enter into the Krebs cycle, right? Those Krebs cycle through produce high energy and electron carrier. This electron move through the electron transport chain, and finally ATP synthase use this energy and to produce the ATP, right? So it powers the all cellular activity. It require for growth and repair and essential for our survival. So how you can remember how ATP is produced via this journey? So good people always keep eating apple. What you have to remember? Good people always keep eating apple. G means glucose, P means pyruvate, acetyl CoA, E for uh, Krebs electron transport chain, and A for ATP, right? So this is the ATP production. How you remember how this whole process occur? What is the exact location? So glycolysis process occur into the cytoplasm, right? Then Krebs cycle occur into the mitochondrial matrix. This is the this arrow should be here up to here into the mitochondrial matrix. Then electron transport chain occur into the inner mitochondrial membrane, and this is a very important site you have to remember. This is in a exam point of view. It may occur as where glycolysis is occur, where a Krebs cycle is run, what electron transport chain occur in a which site of the mitochondria, right? So this is a very important topic. So let's discuss about the ATP production. So we already know ATP production occur in a glycolysis, through the glycolysis through via Krebs cycle, and ultimately electron transport chain through, ultimately we get the about 28 to 32 ATP. So this is the whole role of the mitochondria in ATP production. Second role in metabolism. What is metabolism? Metabolism is a word that is a combination of catabolism and anabolism. It's a role in catabolism. It's a role in breakdown, and it releases the energy. It means ATP. It involves in breakdown of carbohydrate, fatty acid, and amino acid, and ultimately it generate the ATP, right? In a where exactly role of the anabolism. So they provide the intermediate need for amino acid synthesis, lipid enzyme synthesis. So thus mitochondria play very important role not just in energy production but also it essential for cellular synthesis of essential cellular components, right? It's involved in apoptosis process. So mitochondria, what is apoptosis process? Apoptosis process, it means program cell death. where it exactly involves apoptosis process occur via extrinsic pathway as well as intrinsic pathway. While in case of intrinsic pathway, mitochondria is play important role. So when a cell become damaged or dangerous, it receive a death signal, right? So in this cell, one cell or old cell that contain the mitochondria, this mitochondria release one kind of protein, and this protein called as a cytochrome C. So this my cytochrome C released from the mitochondria, it comes into the cytoplasm. It bind with the APAF1 factor. This is a apoptosis factor 1. So here you can see here this release cytochrome C bind with APF1 and it form the apoptosome. This apoptosome activate the various cascade of the procaspase. Procaspase is a inactive form. It converted into activate form, that is caspase. So caspase activation, it activate procaspase 9. A procaspase 9 once is activate, it activate initiator caspase, effector caspase 3 and caspase 7. Caspase is breakdown protein, DNA and cell structure in a controlled manner, very controlled manner, right? So ultimately cell becomes shrink, form smaller apoptic body, is ends is safely cleared by the phagocytosis process. So this is the whole story about the apoptosis process. So if this apoptosis process is not occur, what happen? It will generate the cancerous cell, right? So mitochondria act as a control center that turn or self destruction program like a apoptosis process. Okay, this is what we talk about the apoptosis process. It's a role in calcium storage and balance. Calcium, mitochondria act as a calcium reservoir like a bank, or we can say it just like a sponge. They absorb and release calcium ion according to cellular need. Okay, right? So mitochondria, we can say that it help maintain calcium balance and prevent toxic calcium overload inside the cell. So you can see here these are the calcium release into protein transporter. So here you can see that from the calcium store inside the calcium, and it release through this, it also release the calcium from the mitochondria into the cytoplasm. So why calcium is so important? It is essential for muscle contraction, nerve transmission and cellular signaling. Okay, one most important task it involved in heat generation, and this heat generation we called as a thermogenesis process, right? So it is especially important in a brown adipose tissue. You can see here this image is a brown adipose tissue. We are also called as a brown fat. Why they are a brown fat? Because this adipose tissue contain rich in mitochondrial chondria. That's why it looks like a brown tissue fat, right? This brown fat contains special protein. This protein is called as a UCP1, and this protein also called as a thermogenin. What is UCP? You uncouple, create heat, produce warmth. It means it generate the heat, not produce the ATP. We all know via electron transport chain in final stage ATP synthase produce the ATP, but here ATP is not generate, but it generate the heat. While this heat is important, we all know many animals or a human being are live into the very cold environment, even though they can survive in that environment. Why? Because this is the process occur in this animal and they can survive. So this help maintain body temperature, especially in newborn babies and animals which are living in the colder environment. So this is all things about the function of the mitochondria. If this mitochondria function or dysfunction, it can lead to various serious diseases because ATP production decrease, because mitochondria are involved in ATP production. If mitochondria function are dysfunction, so it will not able to produce enough ATP, and if enough ATP is not produced, then our body muscle weakness, chronic fatigue, neurodegenerative disease, heart problems you can observe in that person. So therefore, healthy mitochondria are essential for our normal body function. So let's quickly revise about the mitochondria. This is the shortcut about the word, meaning of the word mitochondria. M for matrix. It means Krebs cycle occur into the matrix. Inner membrane in the electron transport chain. ATP synthase are present. Two membrane structure are present. Their own DNA and ribosome. C for Christie. H for hem synthesis. Oxidative phosphorylation occur. Number high in active cell. Double membrane structure. Role in respiration. One more most important we discussed that it involve in inherited maternally, it involve in ATP production. This image shows that function of mitochondria. So MCQ question. These are the MCQ you have to solve and give me the answer into the comment box, right? So thank you very much for your attention.